guys, welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you've been here before. My name is Autumn. I also go by Aki Sims here on YouTube, and I am here to show you how to take screenshots and in-game pictures for your Sims. If you guys want to see that process, and just stick around and I will see you guys in just a second. All right, you guys, so we are here with my Sim Bonnie. She's kind of like my model Sim. I have a few that I'll be using. You will be seeing a lot of her because I do plan on doing a creator series that kind of helps you make a Sims YouTube channel, because I feel like I wanted a one-stop place, and so I'm giving you a one-stop place to come to. Anyway, we are going to have a number of things happen today. I'm going to show you how I take in-game photos and how I take screenshots of my game. I just want to first start by saying this as a disclaimer: you do not have to take photos this way. You can take pictures however you want. There is no rule that says that your game has to be aesthetically pleasing. Your game has to look good to you. Don't try to keep up with the Joneses. This is your game, not anybody else's. Okay? So the first thing that I will let you guys know that I use are a number of different mods and apps and settings that help me take pictures of my Sims. So the first apps that you're going to need are the GShade app that you can install. I will put some videos down below that I use to help me learn how to take photos with GShade and how to install it, and all the bells and whistles for that, because there's tons of videos out there and I will not regurgitate what someone has already done. Another app that you are going to need is the screen runtime app. We'll talk about that a little bit later. If you are using an HP or a Windows computer, you should in theory have this app already set into your program. It's not something you have to download externally. Yeah, so those are the two main apps that you're going to basically be using. Other things that you may need to use to make your game look a little better are mods. So some of the mods that I'm going to be talking about today are Twisted Mexie's searchable pose player. There's Andrew's pose player mod, and then you could either use Wicked Whims or Wonderful Whims. It depends on how you feel. If you want things a little spicy, go for the Wicked Whims. If you think that you need things to be a little more PG, you can definitely use Wonderful Whims. I also highly recommend getting MCC Command Center for changing outfits while people are already paused. It just kind of makes the stuff a lot easier. I talk about easy gameplay mods in my earlier video. I'll link that up above so that you guys can watch that, because I live by MCC Command Center being in my game. And then another mod that you may or may not need is Ravishing's iOS mod. It's like a camera, and basically it allows your camera photos to be taken with full quality, good quality, in the game, not externally. So those are some of the mods that I can think of right at the top of my head that you're going to need. As far as your settings go, let's go ahead and let's hop into my settings. So if I come up here to these three little dots and I go to game options, for this situation I always put my game into windowed full screen or windowed, and that's because it allows me to toggle in and out with my window key, so that I can jump in and out of the game when I need to. Another thing is I turn edge smoothing off because it kind of messes with my GShade a little bit, and I don't have laptop mode on, even though I do play on a laptop. Other than that, most of my stuff is pretty high. I don't have the highest end of technology because of where I am and what I have access to, and that's why I think that it's important for you to take photos however you see fit and not try to keep up with other people. Because if I had a higher spec computer, would my pictures be a little better? Yeah, sure, but I'm only using with what I got. Okay. So now that we've went over the settings and everything, I'm going to show you how to pose your Sim. So there's two ways you can pose your Sim. You can use the pose player here, which is kind of like this little grayed out thing. So like, here we go. We're going to click on him and it says either summon a sim or teleport a sim. So we're going to teleport the sim that I'm using, which is Bonnie. And so now she's over here. Another way you can do that is by like clicking, or if you want to click and teleport another sim to her, you can click on her and use the command center. And then there is the sim commands, teleport commands, and then teleport sim to this sim, teleport multiple sims to this sim, or teleport this sim to world sim. So we're going to click this teleport sim to sim, and then we're going to click it again, and it'll pick from the sims that are around you. If I wanted to, I'm not going to, but if I wanted to, I could click on Dion and have Dion teleport right on her, and then I could pose them both from there. So how I would pose my sims if I did not have the like Wicked Whims or Wonderful Whims in my game, I would click on my sim here, and I believe with the Andrews teleport mod, this comes with this. If you go to pose by pack or pose by name, so we can click pose by pack. I believe this is the same mod, y'all, do not quote me. And so here you have a list of poses, tons of poses that I have downloaded. I will show you guys where I get my poses from. I get my poses from this master Tumblr list. I will put it down below. But you don't have to have this many. And one day I will go through here and like make it look better. Some of my favorite pose creators are Blue, because I think Blue makes really good poses for men. I also love her name. I do not know how to say. It's like Acha or something. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, her name is Acha. She makes the cutest poses. They're so cute and adorable. I also really like poses by MEL Bennett, and I use poses by Simmereen. I think that's how you say that guy's name. You guys, I'm so sorry. I also have, there's a ton of poses in here, so I'll put some of my favorite ones on the screen and I'll recommend them down below. But like I said, if you guys go to the master list, you can just look through a bunch of them. For the most part, most of the poses that I get are like free. It's very rare that I have to pay for poses. If I have to pay for poses, I will either wait for them to go on release, or I will pirate them. I'm not playing. Okay, it's a pose. It is not like game coding. Why are y'all putting it behind perma paywall? But anyway, so now that I have this sim here, I will click on her and let's just go the old school route. Let's pose by pack using Twisted Mexie's searchable menus mod. I can come in here and type in pose, and let's use this one, which is Acha female poses number 3, and let's just do number 2. So now you can see it's queued up here and she's going to pose. So now she's posed, right? And so now I have this tripod, which comes from, I believe this comes from the Machino pack, I believe. I'm not exactly sure, but now I have her posed. So let's see here, and let's say I want to take a photo of her, but like, let's pretend I don't have anybody else in this like household. It's just her. Because I have her posed using the old-fashioned way, I can click on this and take a photo. So I'll show you how that looks. Oh, another thing I want you guys to be very, 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 very careful of, if you pose your sim this way, like the classic way, you have to be careful about going in and out of build and buy mode or putting objects around them that could reset them, because they don't stay still. Once that happens, she'll like reset and then not be in the pose anymore, and then you got to start all over. So just FYI, that's the biggest reason why I do not use this method to pose my sims, just because I need them to stay in this position, whether I am building around them or decorating around them or whatever the case may be. Anyway, let's get back to it. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to click click take a photo, and as you can see, it's taking a picture without her having to be behind the camera. So it's really perfect, honestly. You can use the E key to go up, you can use the W key to zoom in, the S key to zoom out, the D key to go left, or was that right, child? I think that was right. The A key to go left, and then the Q key to go down, or you can just click it and just do whatever you got to do. So I'm gonna just come up a little bit. I'm gonna come like this, and I think that this is good. So you get 25 photos to take. You do not have to worry about like them being bad quality. That's why this ravishing mod is so like key to have, because they're going to be the highest quality of photo, so that, you know, they're not blurry and stuff like that. So this is how I go through and take like photos of my Sims with their families, or like graduation photos and stuff like that. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take some medium-sized photos. We're gonna take a few, and then I'm gonna exit out. So now in her inventory, you can see that she's got her 3 outstanding photos here. And just for reference, so you guys can see what that looks like, I'm going to put this up here. So there we go. We've got her photo. She looks good. Bonnie is a queen. We're going to put a frame on it. Let's do a silver frame. So yeah, this is the in-game photo. This is how I take in-game photos. It's really simple, really easy to use. I can basically do the easy method. That's the long method way of doing it. Okay, so now that we have talked about how to do the whole in-game taking pictures method, I will show you guys how I take screenshots and game captures of my Sims. So this is going to require a lot of listening skills. Okay. So first, you are going to need, well, you don't have to. If you don't want to do this method, you don't have to do this method. Thank you guys so much for watching. You can go now. But if you want to take in-game pictures that look like aesthetically pleasing or whatever, because you want them to look like that, then this is what you're going to need. You're going to need GShade. You're going to also need Relight. That is like a sub-genre of GShade, I guess you could say. If you are using Mac, I'm so sorry, you cannot download GShade. I do believe you can download Reshade, but I'm not sure. There's tons of videos out there. Please Google it, y'all. I'm sure somebody has figured out something when it comes to taking screenshots using a Mac computer. However, I have a Windows computer, so I don't know. You're going to need the GShade or Reshade. You're going to need a preset, or 2 or 3 or 4. I have a whole bunch. And you're going to need Relight, which is an extension of GShade. And you're probably gonna need some type of like sim, honestly. Like, let's just go with that. So first things first, I want to show you guys what GShade looks like. GShade is just basically like putting a filter on your game. It does not actually affect your in-game screenshots. So the regular screenshot that you take using C, that like the game takes for you, does not have GShade on it, and it makes it like it's really gray and really dull. And I'll just show you guys. So I'm gonna open up my GShade panel here, and as you can see, I have mine selected. However, I'm gonna turn it off so I can show you guys what it looks like without GShade on. This is how it looks. It's very dull, it's very washed out, it's very gray. I do have a ton of like little lighting mods. They are not necessary for using GShade, but I use them. I have the no blue, I have the in the dark, a bunch of different like lighting mods to make lighting look better, because honestly, y'all, I'm old, and the way The Sims is originally made is too much blue, and the way my eyes are set up, no, child, no. So I have this off right now. You can go and you can download as many GShade presets as you want. I've seen people who have had this entire thing filled up and have to scroll. Me personally, I kind of play around with a few. I don't like have any ones that I'm like married to completely. When you're downloading GShade presets, just be aware that when you're downloading them off of somebody's site, they are going to initially not be able to download because it is an INI file, which basically changes the like running of a program. So you're gonna have to like accept it for it to download, just FYI. So I have a ton of different like GShades in here. So example, I have Coco Danity Sims 1936 mod or GShade. I have some here by Bria because hers are really good too. I'll put up a few on this page, just like on the screen, to show you guys some of the ones that I use, some of the creators I use. My personal GShade is called Aki Dreams. It's kind of like a mixture. I've basically used one of the people that I really like, and I kind of edit it to my own personal settings just because I didn't want like certain things. I will not ever put my GShade up for download because I did edit it from somebody else's, and to me that feels a little too close to stealing. So I will put down some of my favorite creators for you guys, so just like, you know, you guys can use that. So some things I want to know about GShade. I am not an expert about this. I don't know how things run. All I know for sure is right now it needs to be updated, and I refuse to do that because apparently it's giving people hell. So ignore this top button here, this top little message. I'm not updating it until I can figure out if some of my favorite people's GShades are gonna be okay. So a few things that I would like to know about taking screenshots with your Sims. These screenshots that you will take through GShade will take the filter of the GShade. Unlike just taking a photo using the C key, they won't take any filters. If you take a photo using the C key, this is what you are going to see. Just a regular gameplay shot that is grayed out, that doesn't have all the fancy bells and whistles. If you take a picture using the GShade, this is what you're going to see. It's a little more warm. It's a little more in depth. There's more shadow. It looks better. So there are a few things that I have toggled onto my GShade to make it work for me. And one of those things is the Adolf Quint, and I have that hotkeyed as Shift B. So let me turn that on for you so you can see that. So that's Shift B. So as you can see, everything just turned blurry, right? And then you can see here it's clicked off. So if I press Shift B again, then everything is not. So do you see that? Can you see it going blurry? Like, look at Beyonce's face. Take a picture. Look. Okay. So another thing that I use to help me like take better photos is this cinematic DOF, and this is toggled by Control B. So I will show you guys that one. So Control B. So as you can see, now the blur in the background is even more prominent. But the interesting thing about this is wherever I put my cursor is the new focal point. So if I want it to be on this poster, if I want it to be on this poster, if I want it to be on Beyonce's face, everything around Beyonce's face here is going to be blurred out. But if I want it to be on Bonnie, it's now on Bonnie and everything else is blurred out. So this is really important for videos. I also use this for cinematic scenes. I use this for pictures. It just kind of depends on like what it is I'm doing. I will use this. For now, I'm going to toggle it off because sometimes it can be like a pain in the butt. So now we're going to open back up our panel, and I'm going to show you the last thing that I use in the GShade panel that is helpful. So the last thing I use is the Quint Relight. So what I will do is on my Patreon, I will put this specific file that you need. I will put that down like in my Patreon page, because trying to find this file child was so hard. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I had to watch a Russian girl's like page to figure out how to find these, because it's so impossible to find these files, and there's people out here paying for them. I'm not paying for this. So yeah, I'm going to put it on my Patreon so that you guys can find it. I don't think it ever needs to be updated. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, because I truly don't know how she found them, but she put them on her page, and I was like, thank you, girl, thank you. But because she speaks Russian, I could only look at the pictures to follow along. I'll still put her video down below though, because she is very helpful. So this relight here is toggled by Control L for me, as in for like light. And it's not like a toggle that I use all the time. It's not a hotkey that I use all the time. So what this is it basically does exactly what it says. It relights the photo. So what that means is it will put light on your sim in specific areas. So for example, to start off, you have 2 bulbs. So here's 1 and here's 2. So you can change the intensity of these bulbs by going down and up, down and up, right? The only things that I use are these first 3 columns here, this tint button, and the intensity. That's it. That's all I touch. I don't touch any of this other stuff. So for the movements of the bulbs, the little balls, this will take it left to right, and see how as we're moving the light, it is like showing on her face a little more, and see we can move it all the way across the screen like this. So that's really helpful. Another thing we use is this one, which will take it up and down. So now you can see the light is moving up and down her face, right? And we can make this go back to the foreground, or like in the front, right in front of our faces. And the good thing about this is no matter where you place this, so let's say I place this and I bring the intensity up, if I toggle out of GShade here, the GShade menu, the balls go away. However, what doesn't go away are the bulbs. They are still there, but it's important to note that when you move your screen, the bulbs are moving with your screen. So for example, just to show you in real time, these bulbs are moving with me. They're not staying on her face where I've placed them. They're moving with the screen. So with that being said, it's really important that you choose your position and where you want your sim to be before you move your bulbs and change your lighting and intensity and stuff like that. So just because you're going to have to move it if you don't later, and that is a pain in the butt to have to worry about later. So the other thing that I use that I think is important is, other than the intensity, I use the tint. So let's go ahead and let's change the tint color. Right now it is like a whitish gray. It's usually the default that I use. I use like white and yellow and just kind of, move the lights around, make it look different, make it look good or whatever. So let's change it to blue. So if you guys did watch my most recent Spin Masters video with Ocean, a lot of his scenes were very blue and very purple, and I wanted to go with that to kind of change the mood. This is very useful for setting a tone to your Sims pages or to their photos that you're going to take. So instead of blue, I feel like Bonnie's vibe is more on the pink side. So let's do like a fuchsia color. That's cute. Yeah. Okay, and then I want to actually pose her. So before I start fiddling with that, I'm going to actually pose her. So the way I pose my Sims is I will click on them and I will go to Wicked Whims here and I'll click pose. Now I have my Wicked Whims set up so that I can basically use Wicked Whims as well as the original pie menu. I don't remember how I set that up, but I did set that up because usually if you're using Wicked Whims, you cannot use any other menu, and it's kind of a pain in the butt, honestly. So I did somehow figure out how to do that, and I changed it. So let's go into our pose. So these are our poses. So we obviously have been here before. So I'm going to go back to the pose that I used previously, and I'm going to explain why I really like using Wicked Whims to pose my Sims, okay? So here is the Acha pose that we used earlier. Earlier we used number 2, right? So this time we're going to use number 3. Now, you're not going to see anything happen immediately because this is Wicked Whims. It has to like load it into it. So now she's going to load into that pose. So the reason I like using Wicked Whims is, first off, she's in the couch, right? And that's not good because we don't want her to be in the couch. So we can go to Wicked, we can go to Actions, and we can go to Enable Positioning. And you can use these little buttons. So it's important that you make sure you can actually get to them. Like for this one, it's halfway through the wall. And for me, that's fine. But if I were in a apartment and I wasn't able to get to this one, then that would really suck, right? So I can use these arrows to move her. So I'm going to move her, like, let's move her a little bit away from the couch, just a tiny bit, like that. And let's say we want her to be a little turned like this. Okay, so now we've got her all posed, right? And so we're just going to click disable so we can get rid of the little like floaty things, because they will show up in screenshots if they are not gone. And they will show up in video if they're not gone. So now we have her posed in the perfect spot. We really like this position for her. But let's say I want her to be in a different position. And this is why I like posing with Wicked Whims. So if I click on my sim and I go back to Wicked and I go to pose, I am back in the same opening that I was when I was looking up this pose. In the original like method of using to like pose Sims, you have to start over. So it'll take you to your main menu, and then you have to search the pose, and then you've got to press the pose. With Wicked Whims, it saves the last area that you were at, which I think is perfect because ain't nobody got time for all that other stuff. So I'm going to pose her in, let's do number 5. And so I'm just going to press play so she can move. And now she's in that pose. So now she's here. And so now that she's here, I can toggle on all my other little cutesy GShade things. Okay, so this is the photo that I want. This is the area. This is the frame. This is what I want it to look like. I'm going to toggle back on my cinematic DOF so that it's even more blurred behind me. And when I go into edit my photos, which I will probably do in another video, I will like even further blur the background so I can put words or maybe possibly turn this into a thumbnail. So yeah, this is where I want to be. Now, this is my own personal tip, and I haven't actually seen this anywhere else because I am very clumsy and I often will push the like mouse or accidentally press something. What I like to do is save this spot, right? Because your sim is not going to move. Your orbs that are now vanished are not going to move either. But it's sometimes really hard to get the same spot that you have had before. So what I will do is I will press Control and I'll press 5. So here we go, Control 5. Now, for example, if you want to save a mark, like a mark key for a video, that is the key that you will use. So you can use 5, 6, 7, and 8 to basically make markers for your camera to jump to when you're doing scenes. I'll talk a little bit more about that when I get to that video. I don't want to go too in depth with it in this video, but I do use it to keep my spot. So for example, if I am playing around, or let's say I get up to go get some water and I F around and move the screen, oh shoot, wow, now I'm looking over here, that sucks. Now I gotta somehow get back to where I was. I can just press number 5 and the screen will toggle right back to where I was. That is just a tip for me because I haven't seen anybody else use that tip and it's amazing. So I have Bonnie posed. She looks good. Okay, she looks good. What I'm going to do is toggle the screen so you can see your cursor. Just click on the screen so you can see your cursor. Do not move the screen. Don't move the screen. So now I'm going to press my Windows button. And this is why it's important to have your screen in windowed full screen or just windowed mode, because we're going to need access to our other applications outside of The Sims. And if you have your Sims game in full screen, you can't really get out of the game and do other things. So one thing we're going to pull up is this right here. It is called the Simple Runtime Window Editor. Every HP computer should already have this application installed in your game. And this is super, super important if you want really crisp, very nice looking screenshots. Me personally, I don't have the highest running computer, so this definitely helps up the ante when it comes to my screenshots. So I'm going to click here where it says select running application. And then as you can see here, the very first one is The Sims 4. So we're going to click that and click open. And then you're just going to click everything. All of this needs to be checked off. And usually it's only 3. I think it's because I have my graphics card also doing stuff with The Sims right now. So you're going to make sure that everything is clicked off. The next thing you're going to do is go to the Windows position and size box. You're going to make the width anywhere between 2000 to I think about 3000. Me personally, I stay in the 2000s. So I say 2000 by 2000. And what this does is instead of my screen being the regular 18 or 1080 by 1920, it's going to make it as if my screen is 2000 by 2000. And what that will do is blow up my picture. So I'm going to actually move this so you can see it happen in real time. I'm going to click set here. And I usually don't use anything higher than 2000 just because I don't want my game to explode. I don't want my computer to suddenly combust. 2000 is a sweet spot for me. You can, fiddle around with it however you see fit. I think it just needs to be a little bit bigger than what your screen size currently is. So just play around with the numbers and stuff like that. I don't think there is a right or wrong number here. But anyway, I'm going to press set. And as you can see, the screen is massive now. Bonnie is much closer to us. And she's very close. So what I will do is, and this is very important because you don't want to mess up your screen by clicking stuff and everything. All you have to do is just move your mouse back to your game and just click on your game. Don't move your screen after this. Don't move your screen. Don't even my clumsy behind has to make sure I do not move my screen, because if you move your screen, it kind of messes up the entire screen time run application. And so then you have to do it again. You have to start over. You have to go back into to the window mode, go back into the thing, turn it to 2000, and set again, just because it's picking this specific photo. Does that make sense? I'm hoping that makes sense. I'm not a techie. I'm really not, y'all. So this is what my screen looks like. Now you're like, oh my God, Autumn, it's super blown up. It doesn't even have the entire screen. Well, if you're using the GShade application that you installed, you can take a screenshot of your game and it will take a screenshot of the game, not your screen. So what that means is even though you're super blown up, you will get the screenshot that we originally had, the area that we originally had. So this is kind of like making your game screen a little bit bigger, and it makes things a little less pixelated, so that everything looks a little smoother. So if you can see, her face does look a little more smooth around the nose and the chin. It doesn't look very pixelated like it would if it were in the regular 80 by or 10 by 80 and 19 1920 or yeah, 1920. I think that's what it was. Yeah. Now what we're going to do is very important. Do not move your screen. We're just going to use our hotkey for taking a screenshot that you have set up using one of the other videos on how to set up GShade, and you're just going to take a screenshot. So mine is Shift N. And so now it says it successfully took a screenshot and it is in the folder that I set it to be. So we took a screenshot. I usually like to take multiple screenshots and then just delete whatever I'm not using later, just because you never know. Finally, we're going to toggle our Windows key and you're going to head back to the simple runtime screen again. Now you're kind of like, oh my God, Autumn, how do I play the game? Let me show you guys. Like if I tab out, now everything is super big and I can't, like, oh my God, how do I play my game? I can't get to my UI. My UI is I can't see it. Calm down. Just go back to the application, to the SRWE application. You're going to click fake full screen and see what that did. It just went from 1920 back to 1200 again. Do you see that? So now you can move your screen and do whatever, right? Now, if you're not using this and you just want to take a photo like using regular print screen, that you can do that too. So if I were to do that, I would go back into tab mode, press 5 to go back to my original like space where I liked her photo. And then I would just hit my print screen button. So I think that is up here and it'll make me do a screen snippet. Sorry, that did not work the way I wanted it to, you guys. I'm sure it's easier for some of you because I don't know how to do this. There is a way to take a screenshot of your screen without it doing all this extra stuff. I don't use this method, but if you wanted to take a picture using print screen, you could just do that. So that is how I take my photos of my Sims in game. And just to show you guys, let's go to so these are my screenshots. I keep all my screenshots in a separate folder that is called Screenshots GShade. And I just will show you guys what that photo looks like. So this is what the photo looks like. So you see it's really clean. You see it's exactly the one that we wanted. And usually when I'm doing a thumbnail, which I'll talk about a little later in another video, is I'll add the bells and whistles, or if I have Photoshop, I'll go in and touch some of this up. Not the photo itself, because I think that's doing a lot. I'll like add like little extra UIs and stuff like that. Some of the extra UI stuff I get are from Pixeltown, and I think her name is Awkward Sims Whims. I will put them up on the screen, actually right next to her right here. They have really good Photoshop templates for you to like have the realistic Sims looking UI, and like you can do stuff with them and make them look all cute. So I highly recommend that. I see a lot of people gatekeeping this type of stuff and I don't like it. I really want everyone to be on the same level. If you want to make your screenshots look cute as hell, then you can use that. If you want to make your screenshots look cool and grainy, that is a thing. Do that too. We are basically done. I am so glad that I was able to show you guys how I take screenshots in my game, how I take in-game photos, because we took that photo over there. And that's just kind of like an insider like look on how I do it personally. I cannot speak for everyone. If you guys have any questions, I can try my best to answer some of your questions, but y'all, a lot of these tips, a lot of this process came from watching other people's content and from finding stuff online. So that's pretty much how I take photos. That is very important. That is why this is the first video, because I feel like most of these things, most of these steps is important for later things. The next video will be a little more in depth on the creator side as far as storytelling. I can't wait to get that video out to you guys. For now, I hope to see you guys in a later video. If you guys have any questions, or if you want to like share your screenshots once you figure it out and watch this tutorial on how to do it, please tag me. I would love to see your good little creations. I'd love to see your cute Sims. They'd be so cute. Please look out for future videos and this little mini series I'm doing, which is to help you become a creator. I'm not the best of creators, but you know what? You could always use a fellow creator friendly sis, okay? And that is me. I'm her. I'm here to help. But yes, I will let you guys go. You guys have a great day or night, depending on where you are in the world. And I will see you guys in another video. So bye.